2 amateurs, 3 weeks leave, and a 22,000-foot Himalayan giant. What happened next on Chomiomo has barely been told. In October, John Hale and G. Spence set out for Chomiomo with 3 weeks leave, little real climbing experience, and great enthusiasm. They were joined by Lewa, who had recovered enough to participate, Nima Dorje, and 3 other Sherpas, all with expedition experience. Chomiomo, at 130 feet, had been first climbed in 1910 by Dr. A. M. Kellis via the Northwest Ridge. Spence and Hale, guided by photographs, past notes, and a reconnaissance in 1931, decided an approach from the east offered the best chance of success. Their route led around an 18,000-foot conical hill to the northeast glacier, where they established base camp at 18,200 feet on a sandy patch of moraine just below the snout. From there, the glacier offered easy access at first, free from serious crevasses. On the northern side, the high northeast ridge connected with the main peak by a col resembling Everest's North Col, while to the right rose the east ridge with striking views of Chomiomo's southeastern ridge and Kangchenjiao's immense bulk. Their first outing on the glacier brought them to 19,000 feet 9 days after leaving Siliguri, a quick ascent that left them poorly acclimatized. Against their own instincts, but persuaded by Lewa's confidence in October's stable ice, they crossed beneath the hanging glacier, fortunately without incident. The porters, moving faster without loads, established that the northeast ridge's north col was accessible by a steep but manageable scree wall. As the weather turned, they endured a snowstorm, though at base only a light dusting fell, leaving Chomiomo visible through veils of snow. The pause did little for their acclimatization, but it convinced them to avoid the dangerous hanging ice. When conditions cleared, they attempted the northeast ridge directly. The climb was slow and cold, and the stony ridge top exposed them to bitter winds. From there, they surveyed Tibet and even glimpsed the Everest group, but the descent to the col proved treacherous over rotten rock, forcing them down to the northern glacier. After pitching camp, they crossed to the ridge, reaching 20,600 feet, where Lewa had set up their tent. Porters Kitar and Ungtsering began cutting steps up the ridge toward the eastern summit, joined later by Galai and Nima Dorje. The snow was iron hard, each step requiring 20 blows, and progress was painfully slow. Meanwhile, both Hale and Spence were unwell, and the porters' boots were wearing out against the screes. Though a rib of rock promised easier ground and the weather was flawless, they could see their limits. Reluctantly, they turned back on October 27th at about 21,000 feet. Resting on the col, they enjoyed the stillness and the view east to Chomolhari, before descending, again passing beneath the precarious ice to reach base. The retreat from the mountain was marked by hardship. Hale managed to walk back to Tangu over the 18,000-foot col, but Spence, weakened, had to ride a yak with a porter who was also injured. The improvised saddle and long downhill stretch made frequent dismounts necessary. At times, the yak bolted or balked, leaving him to fall safely into the arms of Nam Kang, a reliable porter from Lakan. Near Tangu, a minor stampede caused by Galay's white trousers created brief chaos, though no serious harm occurred. At Tangu, their appetites revived, and they rested in the bungalow, enjoying the autumn colors of the Lakan Valley. On the return journey, they admired rock pyramids and glaciers, particularly a striking peak resembling the Matterhorn. They reached Gangtok on November 2nd, 19 days after leaving Siliguri. With a little leave remaining, they trekked on to Darjeeling by way of Song, Timi, and Namchi, relishing the ridge and valley scenery. Though they did not succeed in climbing Chomiomo, they hoped their attempt would inspire others of modest skill to venture into the Himalaya, encouraging the growth of short climbing holidays in the region.